your meeting invite, but you should go to planet4.greenpeace.org, which is this guy. And either you just click on blocks and is the first block on your left side, which is this guy, block form engaging networks, or you just search for form or for engaging networks. If we have done our job correctly, it's the first result that you find, but basically this page will walk you through everything that you need to know to learn how to use this block, which basically nothing else is than a possibility for Planet4 editors to add live pages of engaging networks right within a Planet4 page. Okay, so this is a functionality or a piece of software that really will help us in campaigning more effectively. Why? Because normally what we used to do right now is to basically redirect people from our narrative that is in Planet4 to external pages, be them engaging networks or HubSpot or anything else that you use for your petitions. Whereas this form allows you to basically embed the call to action, let's say, right within the narrative. And of course, the engaging networks form block can also embed subscription form, like our old style Happy Pond. So everything, both advocacy forms, subscriptions, signups, and everything can be done through the same form. Now, without going specifically in how the API settings are done, if your Planet4 site or your NRO is using engaging networks, these API settings are being set up automatically by Global IT when you launch your site. You don't have to do anything. No need to update the keys. You can just access them, engaging network settings, and it's all good. Okay, without going into details, the engaging networks and Planet4 integration works really simple. When I mean integration, it means integration between your Planet4 site and your engaging networks account. Okay, so it's very simple. You have to build a blank live page using Page Builder in your engaging networks account, set it live. You have to build a form in Planet4 engaging networks in the settings. We're gonna see it in a second how to do it. It's very simple, using hopefully the same fields, of course, because you want to send the same information about the same campaign, right, to your engaging networks account. You add the form block to a P4 page, and you select the corresponding both engaging networks page and Planet4 form you just built. Okay, once again, so that you have the same campaign in whatever kind of email marketing or automation or journey you use in engaging networks, and its counterpart in Planet4. The good thing is that is interesting about the latest improvement that we did is that you can reuse the same form of Planet4 for multiple campaigns. Okay, for example, the subscribe form can be one, and you can just use it in multiple pages. Okay, there's no need to necessarily create a form in Planet4 each time you need a new form in a Planet4 page. Okay. That's it. You just customize it as we're going to show it in a second, and if it's done, whenever someone hits submit or subscribe or whatever they do, the block will send the data submitted to your NRO engaging networks account via a specific API. Live page in engaging networks and form in Planet4 embedded in a page via the block means integration. Can you give us a bit more details on why do people have to actually build a page in engaging networks and a form? Why can we not just iframe stuff, for example?
The reason to have a P4 block is so that traffic that isn't coming from an email, that's going to your website, is going to have campaign-related communications on it and updates about the campaign. And it's really handy that if you're going to have a call to action on that page, that the person doesn't have to be redirected or go somewhere else to a third-party destination. They can just sign right there as they're reading and getting inspired by the campaign language. But it's also true that you optimize the value of engaging networks by sending emails and linking people to an engaging networks page. So the way that we look at this is that the P4 block is not and the engaging networks petition are not an either or. It's a both and. So you have lots of places and opportunities for people to convert and become a member or support your campaign. So this is a great place to add that opportunity for engagement.
It's pretty simple. You just access it from your regular dashboard in your Greenpeace Planet 4 website. You just see there is an engaging network setup in menu, and as we discussed before, you don't have to do anything. If your NRO is using engaging networks, all these keys are already filled in by our IT department, so there's nothing you have to do. You have all EN forms. These are the forms that we are building in Planet 4. You can either add new here or add new here, but for the sake of this one, we're just going to use an existing one. And as you may see, you have just a form component. All right, plain as simple as it can be. The email is by default checked in as primary source of information that we use. But you see you have all the available fields and questions and opt-ins that are automatically pulled out from your Engaging Networks account. You don't have to do anything. They are all automatically synced. You see, this is the Greenpeace International test site, and they automatically get pulled out. All you have to do to compose your form is to add the fields that you want. All right, so let's say we want the first name, last name, and so on, whatever country, whatever you prefer. All right. One thing very important, you can also drag and drop fields, of course, as you can see. If you see the opt-ins cannot get the label modified. Okay, why? Because of for compliance and legal reasons, all the opt-in questions, they should be asked in the same language all over your tools and engagement platforms. Okay, so it means that if you define your opt-in in Engaging Networks, it will be automatically imported without you being able to modify your opt-in in the Planet 4 Engaging Networks form. Right. Other than that, you just compose your form as you wish. Hopefully, as we said, using the same values and labels and types that you're using in the correspondent Engaging Networks page. But once again, you have the email. You can just, each field you can set it as required or not. You see, hovering over the little I, you have information over whatever column it means. You can just set it up as required. Let's say, I want to get rid of this. Let's say first name and last name are required, and then I don't know, for example, country is also required. All right, and then you have the opt-in on I would like to stay to receive the emails or whatever. Okay. Okay, and you can decide which kind of field this is. Now, normally this first name and last name can be text, and country can be a country selector. We are adding radio and phone soon, but for the moment that's the one. You can decide what kind of information or field type this opt-in is. It will be a text. You want, as most people, as most offices are requesting, you want an opt-in that is actually visible and required, and let's say be able to be ticked by our users, and one opt-in that is I don't know, hidden, let's say, for example, to send a specific test or specific information to your account, let's say, for example, the language or whatever. All right, so let's say this opt-in is if someone fills in the form, you have the option to select and be it as a hidden field. Okay, so you will not be visible in the front end, but you can determine, clicking on the small pencil, which kind of value you want it to send. Yes, yes, opt-in, or whatever you decide. Let's say yes for this, for the sake of this case. Okay. You can also add callback JavaScript function or regex validation, for example, if you want to numbers in the name or email addresses with the domain with numbers in it. It's just you click in every field that is text. Just click on the little pencil, and it's described over here. You have a JavaScript function validation regex with the link with the documentation in the handbook. You will open up a new page with the direct link that will explain you what kind of regex you can do and how to do them. Okay, same as for the validation callback. You're gonna need a developer for that, but for the moment that's more than enough. Let's say that I am done with my form, which I'm gonna call it as question form, and now I'm gonna publish it, and I'm ready to include it in my page. So my form is nicely done in the Planet 4 settings. Now all I have to do is just to add a new page, and as with every block, all I have to do is to obviously give it a title and so on, and add my block through the page element menus. That's the one Engaging Networks form. And as you can see, the first thing that I am presented with is a list of Engaging Networks live pages that are automatically being pulled out by my engaging networks account. I'm just gonna use the petition test. I have to select the goal, whether it's a petition sign up, is an action alert, is a contact form, or other. We can add them as long as the requirements come in. So for the moment, I'm just gonna use a petition sign up for the moment, and I am presented with 3 styles. Okay. The first 2, you should know them already, is the standard page body text size width, the classic blue background, Planet 4 plain form, and the other one is the full page width. So it's a form that spans across the entire width of the page with a background image. You may have seen it, and it used to be called Happy Point so far. These are the 2 standard ones. We are adding this new form on the side style, but so these 2 are the only ones that will allow you to select the background image, obviously. But all of the text, all the forms have form title and description. Now this field, content title, will only appear and be available if you select form on the side. You see now there is only form title and description, which is allowed for the first 2 styles, but if I select form on the side, the content title and content description will appear. Remaining on the first 2 options, which are the pretty standard ones, let's say subscriber or plain forms, you're gonna have to give it a title, description, a call to action button, thank you main text, secondary message, or redirect to a thank you page URL, which will redirect for people whenever they complete the form, and as a last compulsory step, to select the engaging networks form. And that's it. All you need to do, obviously, if you don't fill any of the key elements, you will not be able to fill the form. You see all the compulsory elements are red, pulled out in red, so that you cannot insert them. Now I have prepared all my forms to speed up the situation. This is the first option, so the plain form, this one, the page body text size width with no background. I am using, this is the form title, that's the description, and that's the different fields that I have given back in the engaging networks form. Okay, so if I sign it now, I'm just gonna have to pull out the different details that I have given. This is the standard Happy Point full page with background style, so that's the second one, background image. It looks exactly like the Happy Point. You have your opt-ins for whichever form you have determined to be, and this is the last one, the latest improvements that we did, which is the form on the side. Now let's spend a little bit more time in defining this form on the side. Straightforward to set up, but requires a little bit of guidance in terms of what it contains. So as you can see, just edit it as a regular block form. That's the one. You select your background image. As we discussed before, content title and description gets pulled out. As you can see, they also allow HTML and markup. Okay, both form description and content description allow HTML markup. It's a pretty cool feature that you may use if you want to, I don't know, redirect to external pages. You got your standard fields and your form selected, as we said before. Now that's an interesting bit. We have the ability to add a counter underneath that, as you can see. So if I open this in a new window, for example, you may see that there is a counter right underneath the text, but in the preview, the counter doesn't show. Okay, why? Because the counter is a functionality that is given by another block that we add just underneath or anywhere in a page where there is a form on the side. Okay, so let's just remove this one and add it once again. Oops. So we add the page element. This is our block. Our counter is just a standard counter with 4 options of style. There is a text only, a progress bar, a dial, and so on. This is the functionality that will interact with the engaging networks form block on the side style. So we just select this one, we put our target, let's say 5,000 completed. We put the overall target, which maybe is 15,000, let's say, and you can also have a placeholder underneath which, I don't know, help us reaching the actual target that you say, or help us reaching the remaining ones. I'm gonna put the target with an exclamation mark. For the moment, it's just a manual process, this counter block. Whenever we will release the global campaign features, each global campaign will have to provide all the platform web administrator with the API key, so that we get the unique global counter adding up automatically as soon as people sign from all over the platform sites. In case of local campaigns, you can already extract this API URL from your HubSpot or Engaging Networks account, but that's another discussion. For the moment, we're just going to insert manually 5,000 completed, let's say, and 15,000 as the target. You just insert the element. As you may see, you don't have a live preview right now. The live preview will happen when, see, you don't see any numbers. The live preview will happen either when you update the page or you preview the changes. That's it. Just reopen again our page in the incognito window, and that's our block. On the form, with the number and help us reaching, you can obviously get rid of the form of help us reaching, or any of the components if you want, even on the text underneath the form description. Now, one thing that is really, really interesting that it can happen, as you can see, this opt-in is hyperlinked. Okay, as we saw beforehand in the edit mode, the fields, the form description and the content description that have hyperlinks, they are just manually added via markup. However, since this is an opt-in question, this markup was added in Engaging Networks in the opt-in question. As you may remember, the opt-in question are automatically synced with your Engaging Networks account in Planet 4. So if you want to have markups or links in your opt-ins, you have to add your links in your opt-ins, and they will be automatically synced with your opt-in. All you have to do, obviously, is to add that opt-in. That's the one. Yeah, Hungary data disclaimer. That's the one. And you see it has a markup href inside here that I cannot change. But in fact, when I insert it in my form block style on the side style, it has an hyperlink that obviously redirects to the GP Hungary privacy policy, or whatever you require people to acknowledge before they sign up your form. Guys, for folks that are using Planet 4 to go in their release site, which is release, I am doing it in the New Zealand environment, but you can do it anywhere. It's your release site, and just start playing with it. If you are using Engaging Networks, you just go into your release site, Engaging Networks, and settings. The API keys should be there. So yeah, we still have a bit of time for